whether it was the time that it cost to do it, which individually can be pretty small, or the mistakes that were made because of them. All of these things cost us money.
You're a problem solver, so we had several pain points in our business personally, and you saw a way to solve them. You have a background in IT and development, and so you created a solution, worked on it for a while. And I came to realize with all the masterminds we've gone to and talked to other investors, RIAs, everything that we all do is we all have the same pain points. Really, that's the same for business in general. You find the same pain points across an industry. So when I saw our pain points were being solved, I thought, this could be bigger. We could help other people solve their pain points too. And that's kind of how we got here today.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it because some of those pain points that you saw me encountering, because it was before you came on full time in our business. Um, I had a CRM, had a phone system, had task management, had project management. Everything was so disconnected. We had a small team at that point of 3 or 4 people, I think, and it drove me nuts. The inefficiencies drove me nuts, but losing data really drove me crazy because um, there'd be times we went to resell a house that we had flipped, and yet I had to fill out the disclosures. And oh man, what year was the roof replaced? I don't remember. And then it was, okay, let's look here, let's look here, let's look here. There were 3 different places we had to go look to try to find our original notes from when we bought it from the seller. And a lot of times when we're buying direct from sellers, sellers don't know how old the roof is. It was their parents' house, it was their grandparents' house, or whatever the case is. Um, but just being able to find those notes drove me nuts. Um, what are some of the other pain points of having disconnected systems that you noted?
I think one thing that was big for me is I'm a data person. And anytime you have multiple systems that aren't as connected as you want, it's manual entry. So then you're relying on your weakest link. You're only as good as your weakest link on your data entry. And also, which one's the single source of truth? If you've got two different systems with two different details on the same field, which one's right? It was hard to keep
Yeah,
up with, and it drove me crazy. I'm a numbers person. I want the numbers to be right. I want them to be accurate. I want them to be efficient, put in a timely manner. I don't like breakdowns in systems. And I think when you have multiple, there's just a lot of links that can break down.
there are. And I think part of the key there is CRMs are designed for, especially in our space, are designed for getting the customer, getting the contract on the property. And then at that point, they're basically done. At the end, you can say, yes, I closed it and I expect to sell it for this much. Or if I'm wholesaling it, I expect my assignment fee to be this much. But it ends right there. There's nothing else going on. So you're left to, if you want to use this task management, or there's lots of task management, project management softwares out there.
Mm-hmm.
But everything has to happen somewhere else. And it's easy for things to get disconnected because not all team members will necessarily have access to a CRM or even think to look back at something from before they would become involved.
Well,
Um,
I
so,
know one thing that I know is I'm lazy. I think the lazy CEO is the best thing that ever happened, and I need to read that book for sure. But the title speaks to me for sure. But I don't I don't want to have to do manual entry. If you have one system, you can build in automations and things like that where you can't. If everything is kind of go here, then go here, you can have processes outside of all your systems, but I want something to tell me what I need to do when I need to do it.
yeah, some of the other pain points we ran into with disconnected systems were relying too much on Zapier.
Mm.
Zapier can do a lot of things, a whole lot of things, and we still use it in our business for some things, for random items and business process, but relying on it so much and the limitations within it because it's connecting two systems or 3 systems, but it's not perfect. And so we would get situations where, let's say somebody would text in pictures of their house. And our lead manager would be getting the text and seeing them on their computer. But then if we wanted to pass them on to somebody else, they had to download each picture by itself. And if the seller sent 50 pictures, it was downloading 50 files, then having to go over and put them in Google Drive or Dropbox or CRM. There's some CRMs that people do load files into. And most of the time that didn't happen. It would be a note, if we were lucky, of there's pics in the phone system. Well, a year later, 2 years later, if you've changed, if things have adapted, oh, they no longer are accessible. Or if we didn't leave the note, we don't remember, it was from the person has three phones, three cell phones, because they are always getting a new burner phone or whatever. Well, which number is it? Because a lot of CRMs that we've used only had one seller per lead, per property. I mean, heaven forbid the person has two phone numbers, or it's a husband and wife, or child helping their parent, or nephew, or whatever the case is. I'm trying to think of the other pain points we ran into. And all of these pain points, just to point out, cost us money. Whether it was the time that it cost to do it, which individually can be pretty small, or the mistakes that were made because of them. All of these things cost us money.